What's up, guys? I'm pretty excited for this live right now. Just want to share a little bit. I have been in the real estate industry since I was 19 years old. So that started back in the year 2000. And so I've been through 9/11. I've been through the mortgage crisis in 2008. And here we are with another crisis that's happening. And so I just want to go live. I want to share some things that I've learned over the years, and hopefully these things can benefit you. So whether you're in real estate, which is obviously what I do, you're in mortgage, or really any business out there, all of these things are going to apply to you. And some of these things are going to apply to you even if you don't own a business. But I just want to share my experiences with you. Hopefully, you can take something from these experiences that are going to benefit you. Because what I found is that in times of need, the government steps up to help, the banks step up to help. There's a lot of opportunities to get help, but sometimes we just don't know that these opportunities exist. And so my goal today is just to share some of these things that I know of. And there's probably a lot of other opportunities that are out there, but if I can share three with you and one of these things helps you, that'll make my day. So hopefully this stuff helps. Hopefully it helps you get through these tough times. I know it's kind of crazy out there, and nobody knows what tomorrow is going to bring, right? I mean, they just postponed the freaking Olympics. Like, that's crazy. I talked to a client of mine who's in South Africa, and they are literally not allowed to leave their house for anything. They can't even just go for a walk around the neighborhood. It's crazy times right now. So nobody knows where things are going to go next. But what we do know is where we're at right now, and we know what the opportunities are right now as well. So let's just dive into this, and I'm going to share some of these things with you guys. So first thing I want to talk about is what's known as forbearance, or mortgage forbearance. And so what this is something, holy shit, that light is flickering. It's freaking me out. Let me fix this. This is what happens when you work at home. You don't have all your normal gear with you. All right, I think we're good. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is mortgage forbearance. And virtually all of the banks right now are offering this to people because they understand that there's been a ton of people who've been laid off. There's a ton of people who've had their hours cut back. Like, it's pretty crazy. And so they know there's a lot of people that are going to struggle to make their mortgage payments in the coming months. And so the mortgage companies want to do their part. They want to give back. They want to help people out. And so one of the most common things that they're looking to do to help people right now is what's called forbearance. And the way that forbearance works is you'll go onto their websites, virtually every mortgage company out there. If you click on it, right, I mean, this is Fannie Mae's. You can see at the top, urgent notice relief available for homeowners facing financial effects of coronavirus. Virtually every mortgage company out there right now is going to have something like that on the top of their website. And that'll help kind of guide you through the options that are available. But the option that most of them have talked about, and that I think most of them are going to, encourage right now, is this forbearance, which is just a little bit of temporary help. So what I want to encourage you to do first and foremost, if you have any sort of auto payment set up with your mortgage company, I want to encourage you to pause that right now. I'm not telling you to not pay your mortgage. I'm just telling you to pause your automatic payment so you can explore your options. So step one, pause anything automatic, whether you have an ACH withdrawal set up, or you have your bank set up to just draft checks, or you just have a significant other who writes checks like a robot and sends those things out. Like, just put that on pause. That's the first and most important thing that you guys want to do with this. Second thing is go to the website of your particular bank or banks if you have multiple properties, and find out what their options are and what their process is. One of the banks that I have loans with is Shell Point Mortgage, and I went on their website, and right there they have a big thing for coronavirus, and then they talk about forbearance, and they're even stating that once a packet is submitted, they're going to review it within 5 business days. Like, they're fast tracking this stuff. Those of you that have been around in the real estate space since the mid and late 2000s, you remember anytime you needed help from a mortgage company, you're talking months to get anything done. Most of these guys are fast tracking it right now. None of them want to see anybody lose their home. No bank wants to foreclose on anybody. All the banks want to help right now. So go on the website, figure out what their options are. Forbearance is going to be the way most of them are going to want to go. And what they're going to do is they're going to want you to put a packet together. And each bank is going to be a little bit different. So you'll have to see what your bank wants, but they're going to want some sort of financial statement just to show them what your overall financial picture is. They might want to see bank statements or tax returns or a variety of different supporting documentation. And then most importantly, they're going to want a hardship letter from you. So they're going to want a letter from you that's going to outline a little bit more detail into what your particular situation is. So let's just say you own a bar. Well, virtually every bar in America is shut down right now. Obviously, if you own a bar and your bar is shut down, that's a pretty legitimate hardship. So explain that hardship, explain to them that, hey, traditionally I bring in X dollars a month and I have Y expenses, and that leaves me with Z profit. Well, this income is gone. I still have all these expenses. So now Z is a negative number. Therefore, I need your guys' help. And so what they will do is they will forego collecting a mortgage payment from you for a period of time. That could be 1 month, that could be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Every bank's different. I don't want to speak for any of the banks, but what they'll do is they'll say, hey, you know what, we're going to give you 3 months where you don't need to make any payments. What we'll do is we'll just take those 3 months and put them on the back end of the mortgage, and you could just pay those later. And majority of the time with what's going on right now, they're not going to ding your credit. They're not going to charge you a ton of fees. It's really going to have no negative impact on you. They're just going to do this to help you get through these times so you could focus on, providing for your family, right? The two things that we really need is food and shelter. So they want to make sure they're helping you out on the shelter side of things so that you can go out and provide food and feed your family. So they'll just let you not make that payment for a period of time, and you'll just catch back up with those payments in 1, 3, 6, 9, 12 months, whatever it is that they agree to. And you'll just catch up with those payments on the back end of things. So that's mortgage forbearance. I encourage you, pause your current auto pay, connect with your mortgage company, figure out what is their process, provide them everything they're looking for. Don't argue with them. Don't say, well, what about this? What about, just give them what they want, guys. Like, don't fight them. Be honest. Don't lie. You don't want to go to jail for mortgage fraud. So be honest with what the situation is. And most of these banks are going to work with you. I've seen virtually every bank I've been to, and all the banks that I have loans with, they are all very, upfront about what their process is, what they need from you. So just follow that process. And this, could be something that could save you a lot of money. For most of us, our most significant expense every month is our mortgage. And so if you can actually forego having to pay your mortgage for 3 months, like, that could really help, right? If you're that person that owns a bar and you've got no income coming in and you got all these expenses, this can actually help you stay in business and help you keep your home at the same time. So hopefully that will help for you guys. That's number 1 on the list. And if you guys do have questions, throw them in the mortgage down below, throw them in the comments, and I'll try to hit all the questions here at the end for you guys. So that's number 1. Number 2 that I want to hit on is what is known as a disaster relief loan. And so the SBA, or the Small Business Administration, which is a government entity, they are giving loans out for those that are affected by this disaster. So there's a lot of different disasters that happen in business. The one that we're all experiencing right now is the coronavirus disaster. And so what happens here is you go in, same kind of thing as what you're going to do with your bank. You're going to provide these guys some documentation, and you're going to let them know, hey, here's the financials for, me personally, for my business. Here's everything that's going on. Here's, why I'm having a hardship. Here's why I expect to need some help. And they're doing these loans where these things sometimes can take months to get approved. They're taking weeks or even days. I have a friend who applied for his last Monday, and by Friday had approval on it. That's crazy. And for a very significant sum of money that's going to allow him to weather this storm and get through it. So what I will tell you is that we just submitted ours earlier this week, and it was painful. Lisa, if you're watching, Shasta, if you're watching, I appreciate you guys for helping to get that done. It was a painful process because the website was so slow and it was so bogged down. So when I hopped on here today, it actually looks like they're undergoing some maintenance. So they're probably working on the website to make it a little bit faster. So you'll want to check back in on this, and I'll post the links down below. But they're offering assistance. So what they'll do is they'll give you a loan to help you get through this tough time, and a very significant sum of money, depending on what your business is. They'll give you a loan. They're charging no, points or no fees to get the loan. They're charging very, very reasonable interest rates on that loan. And a lot of these loans, they're not requiring any payments for, kind of almost like the forbearance. They're not even requiring you to make payments on this loan for a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, all the way up to 12 months. So they're going to give you all of this money, and you don't even have to make payments initially when you get that money. You don't have to pay any fees up front to get the money. And you're just going to end up paying this money back, right? Like this, God willing, we get through this thing here in a relatively short period of time, and everybody listens and respects the stay-at-home orders and the social distancing and all that stuff, and we get through this thing faster, or sooner rather than later, and we can start getting back to normal. But this is something that can help bridge that gap while we're in this abnormal state right now, where a lot of us are experiencing big losses in income. So whether you own that bar, whether you're in the real estate business, I got friends who own fitness studios. Everybody's affected by this in one way or another. And there's a lot of people who have a loss of income. So this is something that, as opposed to shutting your business down, which I would hate to see anybody do that, when there is assistance like this available. So I just want to encourage you to jump on here, get your application in. The sooner you get your application in, the sooner, or the earlier your spot is in line, because the more people that apply, it's going to slow things down. So I would encourage you guys to jump on this one right away. But this is from the Small Business Administration. They got a lot of money to get out. They're fast tracking the approvals on these things. They're charging crazy low interest rates, no fees. Sometimes they're forbearing payments for a while. Like, this is a no-brainer. Like, if you have any sort of small business that's affected, jump on this, please. I know we have a lot of friends that run restaurants. Like, all of you should be on this. It doesn't mean your business has to be shut down. It just has to be something where you're having a disaster that's causing a big drop in the income. So that's what I got for number 2 for you guys. And then let's jump into number 3. And this is what's called work sharing. And I really hope everybody's aware of this. I've had a lot of friends talk about, oh, I had to lay off all these people. I just had to lay off 30% of my company. I had a friend who had to lay off 70% of his company. That's crazy. That's so rough. So let's assume you're that person who had to lay off 20% of your company. That's rough, right? Let's say you had 100 people in your company and you laid off 20% of your workforce. You just got rid of 20 people. Like, man, none of us want to do that. I promise you, if you're an employee and you did get let go of from your business, like, I promise you that was one of the hardest decisions your employer had to make. They did not want to do that. But unfortunately, we're in these times, and business owners have to do what they have to do to survive. So if you did get laid off, I apologize. Just know that, the owner of your business didn't want to do that. They had to do that. So don't hate them for it. I know that there can be a lot of resentment in these times, and I just want to make sure, as a business owner myself, these are tough times, and we all got to make a lot of tough calls. And anytime a business owner makes a call like that, it's not something they want to do. But here's the thing: a lot of those business owners don't know about this thing called work sharing. And so the way that work sharing works is that, let's say it's 20%, right? So you have 100 people, and you, instead of laying off 20 people and keeping 80 people full time, the alternative would be to keep all 100 people, but cut their hours by 20%. So instead of them working 5 8-hour workdays, now they could just work 4 8-hour workdays. That's still effectively a 20% reduction, but they're not actually laying anybody off. Everybody gets to keep their jobs. So the beautiful part from a employer perspective is that you don't have to get rid of anybody, right? Nobody wants to get rid of anybody and lay them off. Like, that's the last thing you want to do. This is a way that you can avoid laying people off. And everybody knows too, as a business owner, that one of the most expensive costs to run a business is recruiting new talent and training that talent to get them onto your team. So instead of letting 20 people go out of 100, and then when things get back to normal, having to go hire, recruit and train 20 new people, that's so freaking expensive. Instead of doing that, you just cut everybody's hours by 20%. And now you're thinking, well, now they're not going to make enough money. This is where work sharing comes into play. The way that work sharing works is you and unemployment share in providing work for people. So you cut them down 20% on their hours. They can actually now, with this work sharing program, assuming you follow the instructions on this, you can share in the work for these people, where the 20 hours or the 20% of the work that they're not doing anymore, they can actually collect unemployment on that. So let's just assume their unemployment benefit was $500 a week if they were completely unemployed. Well, now they're only 20% unemployed. So they could still go and collect unemployment on that 20%. So if it was 500 a week is what they would normally get on unemployment, they could get the 32 hours a week from you at the normal rate. And then in addition, they could get 20% of their unemployment pay. So 80% of what they were normally getting from you. And then the other 20%, unemployment's going to share in that work so that they're still getting paid for 40 hours a week. So you could actually avoid letting everybody go. You could retain everybody. And you could do this, I believe, in every state's a little bit different. So you got to talk to your state. In California, you have to reduce hours by a minimum of 10, a maximum of 60%. So whatever you reduce, let's say it was 50-50. So you took people from 40 hours a week to 20 hours a week. You're going to pay them for 20 hours a week. Unemployment is going to step in for the other 20 hours a week. Now, obviously, unemployment's not the same amount as what you're paying them, but at least it's going to keep money coming in. So they're getting paid by you and unemployment simultaneously. You're essentially sharing in paying for those employees. That's where the work sharing thing comes into play. So I just wanted to share all three of these guys. Number one, let me pop these back up here. So number one is forbearance. That's where you can skip a few mortgage payments and just catch up with them on the back end. Number two is the SBA disaster relief loan. Number three is the work sharing program. If you are a business owner and you put all three of these into place, this can really help you stay in business, and it can help you retain all of your employees at the same time. So I'm hoping you guys got some value out of this. I'm going to pop in here. If you have questions, throw them in the comments. I'd love to see what questions you guys have. And there's a ton of comments on here. So let me just pop in here. Keith Bryan, yeah, always rocking the whistle gear. Joan, Bank of America is not offering, according to Governor just now. I mean, let's check this out. Bank of America mortgage. I'm going to pop that in. Oops, no, mortgage rates. If I just type in Bank of America mortgage and we go to their website, I'm going to take a wild guess that on the homepage of their website, whoops, I clicked on their ad, not their regular website. If I click on here, I mean, there's going to be a phone number here. Call them, see what their options are. There's resources and tools. And I don't see anything on the top line here, but I would just reach out to them. All the big banks, I'm pretty sure I actually saw something from Bank of America not too long ago, but reach out to them. I promise you, the big banks, especially Bank of America, with what they went through during the last, crazy times with mortgage, they will work with you. So just reach out to them. I guarantee you they're going to have some sort of program for you to help get you through things. Let's see what else we got. Eddie, what's up? Jody Lynn. See, Sarah just said ours just delays, but all 3 months would be due in July, not added to the back end, as Governor had said. Sarah, the way that forbearance works, it typically gets added onto the back end of the loan. So let's say you had a 30-year mortgage, so 360 payments. They would just extend that out 3 months on the back end of the mortgage. So they're not going to tell you, oh, you don't have to make a payment for 3 months and then hit you with 3 months of payment all at one time. So that's how it should work the majority of the time. Let's see, Jody Lynn, Kim, maybe Federal didn't ask us for any documents. Some of these banks might be fast tracking it too. So, I mean, some of them you might be able to just hop on the phone and just request it. That could work out really well for you. So you could do that. So that's awesome to hear. Let's see what else we got on here. Property taxes, Joan, I'm not aware of anything, but I would tell you, I mean, anybody, if you're having trouble, paying any of these bills, just reach out to people. You could reach out to them. You could reach out to whoever you have your auto payment through. They might be willing to forbear some payments. If you're renting something, even if you don't own something, if you're renting, reach out to your landlord, see what they're willing to do. I think everybody understands these times, and we're all in the same boat. We're all in this together. And so if we all help each other out, we'll all get through this together. Um, what else? What else? Dallas, does the SBA use your personal credit scores or business? I don't know. Sorry, man. I don't know the answer to that one. What else? What else? Jill, South Carolina doesn't offer work sharing. Just leave South Carolina. Tell them you guys suck. You're not looking out for us. I'm out. Come to California. We would love people to actually move here instead of leaving California. Oh, any others? Oh, here you go. Joan, you could save that address there, homeloanhelp.bankofamerica.com. They do have some forbearance stuff set up on there. We got Chris, any reason not to pause mortgage payments? I mean, to a certain extent, that's what forbearance does, is it just says, hey, you don't need to make any payments right now. After however many months, let's just say 3, because that tends to be the most common. After 3 months, then let's get caught back up on it. So it's kind of like hitting a pause button. Forbearance is very similar to that. And cool. I think we hit all the questions. If you have other questions that I didn't answer today, feel free to post them down in the comment section. I'm happy to help you out with that stuff. If there's anything I can do for you, and I've done this for 19 years now, which is really, really crazy to think about. So I've been through this a couple times now, and I just want to share. I wish I knew this stuff back then, right? And I wish somebody had shared it with me. So that was my goal today, is just to share what I've learned with you. Hopefully that can help get you and your family through these crazy times. I want to be that resource for you. So whatever you need, I'm here for you. Feel free to reach out again in a comment, shoot me a direct message or DM, and I'm happy to help you guys out. But hopefully you got some value out of this today, and that's what I got for you. Keep your head up, stay positive. Don't go watching movies like Outbreak and Contagion and stuff like that. Like, that is going to destroy your mindset, and it's going to freak you out. Stay positive. Watch some comedy, man. Like, download the House Party app, like connect with some friends, have some fun, download Zoom, have a drink with your friends, have cocktail. I was thinking about just doing a dinner date with some friends where we both make dinner and we set our computers up and we just kind of dinner, and it's just a computer across from us, but it's our friends. That connectivity is so important. So I encourage you guys to stay connected to your friends and your family, right? If you have I know when I get done with this live right now, I'm going to give my grandma a call back in Buffalo, and she's 90+ years old. Reach out to those to your senior citizens, right? That are your friends and your family. Like, a lot of them are living in these 55+ communities, and one of the reasons they live in these communities is they want that connectivity to everybody around them, and now that's lost. So reach out to somebody today. If nothing else, if you don't do any of the stuff I talked about today, just give somebody a call, that's 55+, and just say, hi, how are you? How's everything going? Is there anything I can do to help you? That's what I want to leave you guys with today. Hope you got value out of this. Have a good one.